Welcome to Kaleidoscope. Let's talk. It was truly inspiring to meet a woman with an incredible story at the Galle Literary Festival. Nujeen Mustafa, a Kurdish Syrian refugee and activist who fled her home country Syria, travelling 3,500 miles in a wheelchair. Nujeen, who has cerebral palsy, made her way through treacherous roads to Germany and resettled there. She was listed as one of the BBC's 100 Women in 2018, has been featured on mainstream TV talk shows, and in 2019, she became the first person with a disability to brief the United Nations Security Council. She received the Alison de Forges Award for Extraordinary Activism from Human Rights Watch and co-authored a book titled The Girl from Aleppo, about her extraordinary journey to escape oppression, along with Christina Lamb, who wrote the book. She's an example of resilience and a true hero. I followed her story at the time, and I'm truly thrilled to meet her in person and have her on Kaleidoscope Let's Talk today. So Nujeen, welcome to Sri Lanka. Your first time here. How do you like it?
I love it. It's very beautiful. Just visually, the scenery is wonderful, and it's just very surreal to be here. And the weather is a bit too hot for my, for my body. I was used to German weather, but I love it.
What pushed you to write The Girl from Aleppo?
Avid reader myself and a lover of books. I know how much they have impacted my life personally. They were basically my own school because I couldn't, attend it back in Syria. I was grateful to have this opportunity to kind of be a voice for people. For refugees, people with disabilities, Kurds, all the parts that make up, my identity, and how it was very important for me to convey that, refugees did not go on these horrific, horrible journeys because they wanted to, but because they had to. All these people that you've seen come through these borders, these are people who have dreams, who had families, who had, aspirations, and they had all of that taken away because of that horrific thing that happened, and and that they didn't have a choice. I just wanted to bring it closer to the reader, that maybe, geographically and emotionally a bit distant from these events.
There are two issues that you highlight, Nujeen. One is how the world treats people with disabilities, and the other is how the world perceives war.
Yeah.
What do you want the world to know about these two issues?
What relates to disability is that they are just people, and they have their own aspirations, their own dreams, their own potential, and that they are an untapped resource in every nation, and that they are often not heard and not believed in that sense, and how much every country could benefit. The rights are not like another charity; they are a right. They are the inclusion and integration of people with disabilities, and should be the norm, not the exception. Having a disability is not a death sentence, and it's not a curse. It's just something that you are either acquired or are born with, and you have to be given the tools and mechanisms to navigate your own life and construct the life that could be most fulfilling to you individually.
What about war? What do you want people to know about war, the way you saw it?
The fact that it's so widespread, that it's so common, is a symptom of the fact that people have not realized how devastating it is, how huge the consequences are, and the people that are paying the price are not the people who are starting wars. It's always the innocent that have nothing to do with it. I did not decide to break out of a civil war in my own home country. It was an oppressive regime. Somebody sitting at a table and signing a paper or whatever. The most depressing fact about war, I guess, it's that the most innocent are always the ones that pay the price. The cost of it goes for generations and generations. It's a long-term drama that that's so many unfortunately have to experience. We have to remind people that this is unacceptable, that this is not what we deserve, This should not be the norm. This should not be normal. We shouldn't be accustomed to the fact that people are dying or suffering or going or immigrating or going through horrific journeys. That's not how it should be.
In your work, in your activism and your advocacy, you have gone around the world, but not back home to Syria. Would you ever go back?
I would love to, and I'm hoping to come back to a country that's better than the one I left. So it's not just not just rebuild it just the way it was, but even better.
You did that 3,500 kilometer long journey on your wheelchair,
Yeah.
fleeing from your country. What was the most challenging thing you faced?
Aside from the logistics of having to go around that in a wheelchair and the rough terrain that is not at all suitable for a wheelchair, I think psychologically it was just having to grapple with the concept of what we are going through, and that the fact that our entire population, or a huge portion of it is going through that. All these were people. They were proud. They had their jobs. They had their families. They had a lot. They had peace. They had so much going on for them, and it was obliterated in a second. And they have to start from point zero. And that was, and I think it hit me once I was on the borders. It was just like people just begging for doors to be opened, and just looking for a second chance. And psychologically, I think that was the most challenging thing to deal with. Of course, physically, I had to be I had to be carried and pushed, and I had sore forearms all the time, and I was also worried for my own sister. She was there. She had to deal with all of the logistics, knowing where to go, what to do, and what kind of permission or paper to get, and all of that. And all of that was it took a toll. But I tried to, I knew that I would never experience something like that again. So I tried to to minimize that and kind of experience it as an adventure, something that you would tell your grandkids once you're older.
So when you were younger, you learned to speak English by watching TV programs.
Yeah.
What sort of programs did you actually watch?
I watched Days of Our Lives. It was subtitled into Arabic. And one day I started watching the show, and one day I realized that I did not need to follow the subtitles anymore to understand. I watched a variety of shows just to expand my vocabulary. So for the culinary, expressions and terminology, I used to watch MasterChef. I used to watch the doctors for the medical field things. I also loved, I generally love documentaries, so that covered the archaeological or historical parts. And I tried different types just to kind of once I realized that I had the talent for it, to expand the vocabulary. So it was, but it was a fun way to learn.
You mentioned that everyone has dreams. We all do.
Yeah.
What were your dreams when you were growing up?
I knew the limitations of my own situation, so mostly my dreams was to kind of prove myself, to prove that I was, that I was capable, and to prove the community and society around me wrong, and in their perception and expectation of what my life would be like. So I was mostly concerned with being a better person every day. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be free of the limitations of gravity at the time. I just wanted to find my own self-worth in what I did daily to improve. So I think that was my dream, just to feel valuable and feel worthy.
What do you want world leaders to know about people in this situation and act on it?
Every decision they make impacts real life people. It's not the figures on the reports. It's not something that could be ignored, and that these people have don't have time. We don't have time to think and elaborate, and we have to move as quickly as possible and do everything in our power to stop well, whatever it is that's causing these issues and the suffering of innocence. These individuals are elected to look out for other people, to make decisions that positively impact them, that guarantee their safety, guarantee their human rights. They may have forgotten it, but that's their core duty. That's the responsibility they have.
Nujeen, what's next for you?
Personally, I hope to finish my education and get my technical A levels, and broadly, just in terms of advocacy, I hope to, continue on that path, and hope to, reach out to even more people. And I hope to reach a point where it does not even warrant a discussion, where it's just a part. Where these groups are just a part of have a seat at the table and are a part of the discussion, and are just no longer overlooked or stigmatized against. And I hope to shift the perception from the mentality of victim to survivor.
It's truly inspiring having met you, Nujeen, and good luck and more power to all your work.
Thank you.
If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, follow and like us. Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn.